What's up, guys? It's Benny. Government fraud, waste, and abuse is back in the news, back on the menu, boys. So why don't we look at something that is utterly unnecessary to the American public, which is PBS. We no longer need NPR, PBS, public broadcasting. Obviously, these are institutions of woke capture. Nonetheless, if they are good, they should be able to stand on their own. They don't need millions and billions of dollars from the taxpayers. Why would we be paying for this? These channels are clearly left-wing propaganda. And oh, by the way, how much money does Nick Shirley get to report in the public interest? I mean, that's the whole point of this, right? That NPR and PBS are in the public interest to have government broadcasting, public broadcasting, national public radio. It's all communist slop anyway. You know, Nick Shirley, did he get paid millions by the federal government? I don't think so. In fact, I know as a matter of fact, he didn't. Yet here he is with 138 million views, 243,000 reposts, 675,000 likes in his post on Somali fraud, one of the single most important exposés, journalistic exposés in history. Nick Shirley here doing the work of NPR. Why didn't NPR or PBS do this work? They get all of our money. Shouldn't they be concerned about the squandering of taxpayer dollars? You'd think they would be. Oh, wait, they're part of the racket. And so that's why it's good that they are getting shut down. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the primary funding vehicle for PBS, has officially been dissolved after President Trump stripped them of funding. Good riddance. Taxpayers will no longer be subsidizing this left-wing propaganda. What an architecture, what an infrastructure these people had built for themselves, where the American taxpayer is paying the bill to these lavish corporations in order for them to attack us and our politics and our country and our nation from the inside. I mean, what a racket. Corporation for Public Broadcasting votes itself out of existence. Nice. The leaders of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private agency that has steered federal funding to PBS and NPR and hundreds of other public television and radio stations across the country, voted Monday to dissolve the organization. It was created in 1967 when there were a bunch of dirty Marxists planning on taking over the federal government, and they did a great job, by the way. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting has been winding down since Congress last summer voted to defund its operations in the encouragement of President Trump. Its board of directors chose Monday to shutter it completely instead of keeping its existence as a shell. It's amazing how quickly it all withers on the vine. The moment you cut off the checkbook, it all collapses. Many Republicans have long accused public broadcasting, particularly its news programming, of being biased toward liberals. But until the second Trump administration, the GOP control of Congress, that these critics were turned into actual action. The head of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting Board said the federal defunding of public media has been devastating. Amazing. I love to see it. Even at this moment, I'm convinced that the public media will survive and that new Congress, why does the public media need to survive? Name one thing that you've done. Remember how NPR refused to report on the Hunter Biden laptop? And they issued some groveling, bitching thing about like, we're not going to add to the nastiness of online dialogue by reporting on what's clearly false, Hunter Biden's laptop. No, dude, these are propaganda arms. I'm convinced the public media will survive and that Congress will address the public media's role in our country because it's critical for children's education and history and culture and democracy. Dude, we have YouTube, man. Okay? We have YouTube. We have Rumble. We have Facebook. We have Instagram. We have X. Maybe the most important of all of them. And that's where kids can find out about the world around them, obviously. And we have AI now, and you have destroyed yourself, by the way. Corporation for Public Broadcasting Board votes to dissolve itself, end itself, after Congress defunds NPR and PBS. Why do you need a corporation for public broadcasting? I don't get that. Why do you need public broadcasters at all? It's not 1967. People have access to all of the information that they need, more than any information in the history of humanity. Anyway, Corporation for Public Broadcasting, with funneled your money to PBS and NPR to call birds, roads, and country music racist, is officially dissolved. Good riddance, says John Kennedy. It's official. As of today, PBS has officially been dissolved. I voted for this, and what is next? PBS is gone. I voted for this. A stunningly fast end to the era of public media after nearly 60 years. It dissolved itself. Next, CNN, right? Notice how wealthy Democrats who claimed to defund PBS and NPR was the end of the world never stepped in to fund them themselves. They just let themselves shut down. Notice how it's the same story with USAID. It's because without taxpayer money, these institutions are completely meaningless. Their sole purpose was to serve as vehicles for fraud. NPR is cooked. It's amazing to watch CNN report on this. I'll play you that clip in just a second. They're clearly holding back tears while they're at it. Bye-bye. We expected their woke practices. We exposed their woke practices, defunded them, and now they're gone, says the Oversight Committee. Good job. CBS is done. PBS is done. CNN is done. ABC is done. MSNBC is done. 60 Minutes is done. New York Times is done. Washington Post is done. Associated Press is done. Nick Shirley has done more for journalism than any of those organizations. Massive win. Good riddance, PBS. CEO of PBS says she can't make any sense of the argument that we are somehow biased in any way on public broadcasting. Luckily, we have plenty of examples. They're biased trash that passes as news at PBS. This was, again, and isn't this like the perfect PBS board member? Isn't this perfect? From her home in the Hamptons or whatever, right? Look at this. Using extreme left and extreme right, 162 versus 6, promotes radical gender ideology 90% of the time. PBS White House correspondent characterized President Trump as white resentment and promoting a myth of America. PBS ran an entire movie celebrating transgender teenagers changing gender identity. PBS devoted an entire panel to what it means to be woke and white privilege. PBS aired a children's program that featured a drag queen story hour. NPR routinely promotes chemical and surgical mutilation of children. NPR apologized for calling illegal immigrants illegal. NPR declared the Declaration of Independence had flaws and deeply ingrained hypocrisies. NPR scrapped its decade-long Independence Day tradition of reading the Declaration of Independence instead to discuss equality. An NPR editor's note talking about the document contains offensive language on the Declaration of Independence. Yeah. So enough. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Good riddance to PBS. Left-wing propaganda machine. Don't need your tax dollars. They don't cover real news. What an incredible time to be alive. Oh, and Stephen Colbert lost his show too. All right. Here's CNN holding back tears, talking about the end of left-wing taxpayer-funded broadcasting.
A stunningly fast end of an era for public media. After nearly 60 years, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting has voted to dissolve itself, forced to take the drastic measure after the Republican-held Congress voted to defund it at the behest of Donald Trump. The private agency has steered federal funding to PBS, NPR, and hundreds of public television and radio stations across the country.